All right, I'm back. I slept. I got some sleep in. I'm halfway awake. I need coffee, is what the deal is. But we're playing some Tour 5. I still got, I think, 5 more to go on my pin chest. See if we can get some of these tournament holes. Maple Bay, hole 4, par 4. This is not one of the tournament holes. Not. See if I can remember how to play this hole. I know that on this particular hole, you need a big ball and you can do a rough bump over here. This is the spot. All the rest of this course is just a optical illusion. You really want to be able to get up into that area and do this rough bump to get on. Let's see how far we can get up there with the Marlin. I'm going to end up in the sand, but it might be a better shot in the sand over there than it would be from where I'm hitting on the other side. 2, 4, 6, 7. About 3.5 rings. Let's see how far a Marlin can get over there. About 2 rings great to the right. Getting in the rough. That's the area you want to hit. If you bring a big ball and you can bounce through that and get on to one, get your putt and move on down the road. It's still tricky. You got to hit in the right spot. So my opponent's got a 5-power ball, so you can see they don't have to put any overpower with a 5-power ball. They're right there out the deal. So as long as you don't have any headwind, you don't have to put any overpower on. So I'm not sure what they're, no, see, this is that hole trying to blast it through. If you're doing this rough bump, you should put just a little bit of topspin on there to help pop you out. They're going to end up in the sand. What a waste of a 5-power ball, man. We're just playing one-on-one here. This ain't a tournament. Feed that sucker to the hole. The way the wind's blowing in this distance, right on this side of that flagpole. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. That still might go in. It still might go in. It's going to be close. 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 Get in the hole. Excuse me. I think if you're here on one-on-one play and you don't have a headwind, if you have a headwind, you'll have to rethink it. But if you don't have a headwind, or if you have any kind of tailwind, that shot right there with a Marlin ball will get you up there and you'll end up in the sand or the rough and you can get up in 2. From the other side, number 1, it's super tricky to get over to that other fairway. And if you don't do it, then you're stuck in the rough or the sand way back in the back, it's tough. And even if you get in the fairway on the other side, it's still tough to get up here and get on and get around these corners. So like consistency wise, like getting on in 2, getting your birdie. This is a birdie hole unless you bring out a really big ball and hit that shot where you can get on. So it's not a high percentage par 4 unless you're using a big ball and trying to do that rough bump. But when you're doing those rough bumps and you're hitting in the rough like that, you don't want where your first bounce is in the rough. You can't put backspin on it. You may have to, I'm not going to say that. You may put like 1 backspin, or you'll have to adjust that, but you're not going to put max backspin on that shot because you're trying to have the ball have a forward trajectory and it hits the rough. It wants to get stuck in the rough. And so it'll pop forward. Now I came here once before on this hole. I remember playing this hole in the tournament, but it's been a long time since I played this hole, and I played it once, and I had a Titan. And I was able to get over to the other side with my Guardian, and I had plenty of room over here to be able to start off on the green side. But I'm not sure that I have enough. With a Marlin, I'm not sure I have enough club to get over there, or ball to get over there. Need coffee. That's what the deal is. I'm going to finish this game, pause this for a second, and go get some coffee. Now, this is one of those things when your opponent does this in one-on-one, where do you hit? You hit to the sand right in front of them. Don't worry about trying to, okay, so I'm towards minimum guardian. It's going to be about 1.7. I'm going to put reverse side spin on it. So it should be about 1.7. So there's 3, 4, 5. There's 6, 7. So I'm going to go just a little over 4 rings. Isn't it perfect? See if I got my wind adjustment right. That's the most important thing here. That looks pretty good. I have to go back and look at that. So I did a minimum adjustment. No, I was closer to min than I was to mid. And we'll see if they'll rematch. Come on. The Forsaken crew. Juan Carlos. No dice. All right, hold on a second. I'm gonna go get some coffee. All right, had coffee. Gonna play some Tour 5. Here we go. Feel like I'm wide awake. Of course, I've only had a half a cup, so still got to a couple more cups and I will be wide awake. Go Casho Bay, hole 1, par 4. Go Casho Bay. Which ones are we looking for? Hole 1, par 4. This is one of the holes in the upcoming tournament. And I've got to bring out some stuff. I'm gonna do this bag. I'm gonna do, hey, remember how to play. I gotta see where my line is here. I'm right on that transition. I want to see what the effect is with a extra mile. So that's about 3 rings. See what kind of trajectory I'm getting. So I need to go, if I want to do that shot with that extra mile, I'm going to need to go farther to the left. So from where that was on this line, I ended up over here. And so if I want to engage this fairway up here, I need to bring the ball further to the left. So instead of being right on my ball guide on that, I would need to, I'd take a big swing. I'm going to do, like, next time I get on this hole, I'll pull out 2 rings to the left. I'll go back and watch the trajectory I'll go back and watch this video, go back and rewind and see like where it really hit out here. But it looks to me like I need to make the ball swing to the left. And so in order to get that movement, I'm going to need to go out further. It's like, let's look at the shot here. So the shot setup was going along this line and I ended up running through this. So in order to open it up here, I need to pull out further to the left in order to open this up. So be like, I'll take a big swing at it next time I come here and I'll be like 3 rings off. I'll pull it out 3 rings and make a big swing at it. 2.7. It's a little shy of 3 rings. And I never worry about my opponents laughing at me when I do shots like that and I don't make it. The deal is that you're never going to get good at shots like that, or you're never going to have the confidence that you can go out there in a tournament and take that shot unless you practice that shot. And the only way you're going to figure out that shot is to go out there and take your lumps. Sometimes I go out to a spot and I'm using the same spot that I used before in another tournament and everything works fine. But sometimes I go out to that same spot that I was using in another tournament and it doesn't work fine. My clubs changed. They changed. The wind is different. They changed some geometry out there on the course. But you'll never have faith in those shots unless you do those shots and don't worry about taking your lumps. Depending on what long or what rough iron and sandwood you have in your bag, there's not really any downside out there. I was in my long iron from right in front of that sand trap, and that long iron's basically a Spitfire and a Nirvana are long irons from the rough, and that's why they're such awesome clubs. So if you're out on a course in any place that you can get on with a long iron, you can get on with one of those two. And in the rough iron range, there's several. You could do an Amazon, it hits 135. You can do a Razor when it gets maxed out, it hits 129. I don't remember how to play this hole. Seems like there's a wind adjustment here. Seems like there is. But it's also one of those holes that seems like there's a really serious shot of getting a hole in one. I shot some videos a couple months ago on long irons, and I literally in 2.5 years of gameplay never used a Goliath. I mean, it probably ran through my bag for a few days when I first started playing, but it wasn't a club that I ever used. I used it took it out and put it in every one of my bags and played with it for a whole day. I didn't like it. It's not that it's not a bad club. It's an awesome club. I just didn't like it in my gameplay. There's Max. Somewhere eking towards mid. It should be about 1.5 per ring with this club. I want it to roll out to the hole. 1.5. And we're definitely downhill, so I'm going to add on 30%. That's 369. That's 37. 1.5. I'm going to do a ring and a half. 2.5 rings, excuse me. Hitting it great to the right. Close. So here's what that told me, is that even though I was eking towards mid club, I should have did a max adjustment. So what happened on that was, here's the cup, and I ended up on this side, and I hit it great to the right. I should have ended up over here. So the wind was blowing in this direction. I took out mid club wind, which is 1.5, and I added on 30%. So the 30% was probably pretty close. But the 1.5, this might be one of those holes where instead of hitting 1.5, I should be hitting my max wind adjustment, which would be 1 per ring. And that would have pulled me off towards the cup. So when I hit that great to the right, I would have ended up great to the right. Sometimes you'll hit a great to the left, to the right, and it'll go in the cup, and that's awesome at that moment. That's awesome. But you have to go back when that happens and look at what happened on that shot and diagnose what went wrong. Because when you hit a great to the right, it should go great to the right. And when you hit a great to the left, it should go great to the left, and a perfect goes in the cup. And so when you have shots like that, they'll help you out. You can diagnose your own shot and be self-critical. And I make mistakes all the time on that. Or I'll say in the notes like, "Hey, we're gonna do this," and then I go out and do the shot, and then I forget to put something in there. And then you guys get to call me out. Let's keep a couple slots open. Hey, wrong thing. All right. Let's see if we can win. What are we on? Are we on a 5-game win streak? Where's my win streak? Win streak 12. So let's see if we can pop off these last 3. Get a 15-game win streak going. It's always nice when you go out to do your pin chest and you play 8 and you win 8. Win 8 chests. That's 2 golds. The deal is it's not my fault. It's the dynamics of the game. It's the monetization of this game. Go to Google and type in monetization of Golf Clash, and there's an article that'll come up that came out in 2017 when Golf Clash first came out, and it talks about how the monetization of this game works and how the dynamics work here that's different than other games that are similar, like because this is like based off of the Battle Royale model and how they do their, like, what's the hard currency. So gems are the hard currency. So opening up those chests and speeding those chests up, it takes hard currency, money. So you can be, that was fantastic. That was a nice shot. Nice shot. I don't think I can get that same shot done. Like, I'd have to be 6 miles an hour in power. Where's max? If I was out towards the end with max power, I could clip that fairway. Let me give myself a little bit of distance. I'm going to take the wind out. But it's not my fault that if you want to open up those, you need to open up chests in order to get club cards. Isn't it perfect? See if I got my bounces right. Bounce one, bounce two, in the water. Just a bit too much overpower. We'll try that again. What I'm going to try is I'm going to do that same shot with a katana. Now if I can achieve this shot, you have to understand this is with an extra mile 9. So if you've got an extra mile 8, that Titan may work because you don't have as much topspin. You can't stretch that second bounce out as far. So a Titan may work fine with an extra mile 8, whereas with an extra mile 9, it may not work. Nice shot. Well played. But I got to go for it again. So now we're going for the hole-in-one. But I was too far with that ball, so I'm going to bring out a smaller ball. See if I can get the same kind of deal going on with my bounces. And now I've got a headwind. I think that'll be all right. That's a big swing. And the wind's coming straight back, so I'm just going to leave it right there. Isn't it good? And I'm not worried about trajectory on the other side. I'm just wanting to see if my bounces, if I can get my bounces where I can get to the other side. That bounce, if it would have been on track, still would have been a little short. In these practice sessions, when you get these holes that are going to be in the tournament, this is where you can do those crazy things to find out what's working and what's not working, and what's possible and what's not possible. Good luck. Good luck. So back on the gem thing. So if you're playing here and every time you win, every time you play, you want to have a couple extra slot, at least one slot open, if not two. If you don't replay people all the time, then just having one slot open is fine. But if you're trying to get people to replay you, then you want to have more than one slot. Otherwise, if you win during those replays, you're losing chests that you should have gotten. You can look at how many wins I have, and that's how many chests I've opened. That's a massive headwind. I'd really like to see on this hole. We played this hole in the past, and you hit up here to the top and trying to bring it into the cup. I'm just curious with the new extra mile 9 with the extra topspin that it has, if you brought out a big ball, if you couldn't do a max overpower hook shot. And I didn't have a big apocalypse before. I got my apocalypse to level 4 now because of the club card trading. Gems. Not telling you to buy packs, but if you're going to buy packs, that $1.99 pack, the Don't Qualify on Monday, buy the $1.99 pack. That gives you 500 gems for $1.99. It's the cheapest thing in the game. And as an added bonus, they throw in 25 katana balls. Hello. I mean, if you're looking at spending a little bit of cash in this game, that is definitely the best deal. the $3.99 pack for qualifying, where you get 18 Kingmakers and 500 gems. That's a good deal as well. I'm gonna bring my accurate stuff here. Pull back and give myself enough room to work the wind out. I don't ever like playing without open slots. That's how you build your club cards up. I mean, when people talk about they just bought their clubs, are you talking about they bought their clubs because they had gems so that they could open up chests so they never had to play without an empty slot? That's part of the game. That's not buying your clubs. That's not going in and going into the store and buying 652 cards of something to get it up to a level, or going in and paying 75,000 gems and just outright buying a club. It takes a long time if you're playing an account that you don't have some gems, because you go in and fill all 4 slots, and then you're going to have to wait 4 to 8 hours in order to clear a couple of them. And so how much you can play during the course of the day and do the gems. It's important to join a clan so that you can get extra gems in every chest. And if you're in a clan, the way my clan works, it is we have no grinding. I mean, we don't do any grinding at all. I mean, people score points during the off week, the off tournament week, but we don't ever really care. I don't think there's anybody in our clan that even looks at our clan president, Mike. He doesn't care. Kyle, he's the guy he's really our admin. He's the one that set up our Facebook page. He's done a lot of stuff for our clan. GC Des, he's the one that helps provide a lot of these images before tournaments, because he lives in New Zealand and he gets all that stuff a little bit before us. We have a lot of members in our clan that do stuff, and not a single one of us ever talks about like grinding or like, hey, these guys aren't doing it. We talk about, hey, these people aren't playing in tournaments, or like, what's the deal, or what's going on, but there's never any grinding stuff. So it's all about just going out there and having fun in the tournament and just playing and having fun. Who cares how many points you score? But when you're playing as an individual, you need to make sure that you have empty slots so you can work on your clubs. And if you're in a clan, you're going to get, and they're going up the ranks, up the divisional ranks, then you're going to get more gems in every chest that you open, and it makes a big difference. So if you're playing for 16 chests a day, you're playing for 4 golds, you have to open up 12 silvers. That's 240 gold, 240 gems a day. If you're in a higher divisional ranked clan, out of that 240, opening up those 12 silver chests, you may get 100 gems. So instead of spending 240 a day, you're only spending 140 a day. So if you bought that 500 gem pack, you're not going to be able to play for 4 days. 3 days? 3 full days before you run out of gems instead of 2. So I mean, it makes a difference. Where's my red line here? This has got to be at least a 30%. Every bit. So 30%, that'd be 1.2, that'd be 5.3. It's a 100% accurate club. So there's 5. A little bit more. I have no idea what the real wind adjustment is on this, but I mean, it is way downhill. And you can tell because you can't zoom in on your rings. So we'll just make a swing at it and do the 30%. You can fine tune that stuff. The deal is when you're like, if you're playing these holes all the time, you're gonna remember. Like if you're playing Tour 5 and that's all you're playing, you got 3, 6. You only have 6 par 3s that you have to remember stuff for. So like getting to this hole and going, hey, this hole is a 25%, or it's a 30%, or it's a 35, or a 15, or whatever it happens to be, and just knowing that, then you can. But if you come out and you catch a hole that you don't remember, and you're not sure, you don't know what the number is, if you can zoom in on your ring set so that you can count the blades of grass, then you're either pretty flat or you're a little uphill. If you go to zoom in on your ring set and you can't get close to it, then you're downhill. And that means that you're going to have to add on some more wind. And when you really can't get close to it, you're going to need a bunch of wind. All right. Kept the wind streak alive. That's what I'm talking about. Smoking the greens. Let's see if they'll replay. Come on. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Somebody asked me to replay. Gocacho Bay, hole 1, par 4. Gocacho Bay, hole 1, par 4. All right, we got this one again. I'm still working on this one, so I'm going to bring it Titan. And I'm switching to this bag. We're going to put everything on it. I'm going to see if I can get this shot done with an extra mile. So I was here before. And what I need to be is out. I'm going to come out 3 rings. This is a massive adjustment. 3 rings. I'm going to come out where my orange ring's off up there. So there's 2, 4, 5, about 2 3/4 rings, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I got just about all of that. So let's see if that swung it around where I can catch some fair. There we go. So where I was out there, I went 3 rings out. So I can probably, next time I come through and I catch this hole, I'm going to do 1.5 rings out. And we're going to play the clock game. So my company commander came to me the first time I shot off that shell, and he goes, "Dude, you ended up in the sand and you bumped out into the rough. Get your trajectory right." So I made a big swing at it and ended up out in the rough, but closer. I put a little fear into the enemy right there. So the next time through, I will cut that in half and we'll play the clock game. I'll go 1.5 rings out and see where that puts me. And then I know on which side of that 1.5 rings out I need to go in order to keep dialing it into the hole. Hopefully that makes sense. I really love setting up these max horsepower hook shots and setting these things up, because sometimes you go out there and the very first time you just tag it. But typically it takes about 3 rounds to get it dialed in. And so the first time through, I'll see what the thing is, and then I will make a huge adjustment. I actually want to fail on the other side of that, just like I did right there. So now I know that somewhere between being 0 rings, putting my ball guide right down that transition, and being 3 rings out from that, somewhere between those two is the perfect spot. Man, at this distance, that is a very small wind adjustment. And I'm going to think that's probably about 1/3 of a ring. It's very small. That club's super accurate when you get close up like this. So, super! From that distance, it was probably 8 per ring. So that should have been over half, less than 1/3, less than 2/3. And I was thinking I was in my 16 per ring, and that was 1/3 of a ring. Would have been nice if I would have actually ran it out there and found out where I was in my distance as eyeballing it. But those clubs are super accurate. When you're the closer they play, sand wedges and rough irons play different as far as like their accuracy. So like these clubs, the closer you get, the smaller the rings get. And with your rough iron and your sand wedge, the rings get smaller, but that they're, how much is counted within 1 ring is, I'm going to have to shoot a video on this because it's hard to explain. They're almost opposite of every other club on how they work accuracy. They're different, and you got to get your brain wrapped around it. And there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, I should shoot a video on that right now because I'm totally like, my brain is like totally, I could explain it right now. And then there's times when I've shot a bunch of videos on that where I try to explain it and then I can't get the words to come out of my mouth to explain how accurate those clubs are and how the accuracy works, because it works different. Put the ball to draw. But now we know. So if you come out on this hole and you bring an extra mile and you bring, and you'll have to find it out for your club. So if you got an extra mile 7 or an extra mile 8, if you got I tell you that in the past tournaments, I've played this hole with an Apocalypse 2. And with an Apocalypse 2, you can go right on that transition out there between the rough and the fairway with a Titan. And it'll put you right up in the perfect spot. So with any club that you have, you'll have to do the same thing I'm doing. You'll have to go through that practice to figure out how to dial that in. And you're going to take a few lumps. So don't sweat that though. 2.5. I'm going to do about a 10% overpull. So I'm going to do 2.7. There's 2.5. Do a little bit more. That's a little downhill. Hitting it great to the right. See if I can get that huge bump. A little great to the right. Great to the right. Da 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 da. See if my opponent can get the deal. And in tournaments, I come at this hole right here with a Guardian. And if you have a Guardian in your bag and a Marlin, you can do just like my opponent's doing, where you can engage that green with your Guardian. And unlike what's happening here with the Sniper, where you have to pull back further, you can start almost on the fringe. So where you're hitting up here is not quite flat, but you're hitting it on the flat with a Guardian, and you can go right at the cup and avoid these hills. When I first started playing, when this hole first came out, I used to play it from over here on the other side and try and bring it up. And there is a shot from down there, but I found it to be very inconsistent because of these. See how big of a bounce they get right there? If you hit a great to the left or the right, you can be way off because it is, every shot there is going to be different. You hit a perfect, you may get exactly what you're looking for, but you hit a great to the left or the right. Now, even though I don't have a chest open for this is why you always want to have chests open, because if you do find somebody that wants to play, and they did not want to play again. All right, one more for the pin chest. So let's open that up. Let's open one of them up. Gotta have an empty slot. See if we can get a gold chest right here. I think we're on track for a gold. Are we still on our win streak? Where is the winning streak? 2. I must have lost one. I don't even remember that. Did I lose one? How's that possible? How's that even possible? I will tell you that if you're playing down there and coins are a big issue right now, don't stress out too much about coins. The deal is that stay in a tour that you're successful in. So like if you've opened up tour 5 and you can go up and you're all stressed out about coins, don't stress out about those coins. Man, I want to show, if I do this shot out here and try and get up in there, you really don't need to get that far up in there. Bring a Marlin. See, let's explore some of our ways that we can get over to that pad without having to do overpower. All right, 2.6. There's 2.1. That leaves me 5, so that's about a quarter. And I got to snap this off. See if we can bridge that gap and bounce over to the other one. I want to see what the distance looks like from over here. I know if you're on the other side, you can get way out there to the tip, and it's a difficult shot coming in, but you can do it with any club that has any wood that has topspin. So if you've got a big topper or a sniper, you can make this transition and get over here from up here at the tip on this, on the side on the right. It's you have to set it up. It's a totally blind curl shot. You have to set it up and you're going way off the hole, and then you're going to put curl to bring it back around. People always give me the sign like, wow. It's like there's a part of our clubs that people don't really truly understand how it affects the ball, and that's curl. It's surprising to me how many people I see play curl wrong. Like they don't understand how the dynamic works with curl. And this is not good. This is no bueno. Okay. So it's going to push me out this way, 5-6, which is almost a complete ring set. I'm going to be out into that area right there and put all my curl on it. I hit it one ring on the inside. I had less room on the inside than I do have on the outside, so I pinched it. That was my mistake. I should have went out there and did a true wind adjustment. I should have set it up where I wanted it to land, and then I should have went out there and did a wind adjustment. I was trying to just do it by eyeball, and that's not the way to do wind. If you watch my videos on a regular basis, I know people laugh at you, or you'll see it sometimes in comments in social media where people go, I can't believe these guys take out the wind on drives. It's a good habit to get into, to take out the wind. Sometimes when you're going against a headwind, you can take the side wind out and you still got the headwind in. But sometimes you can line it up by eye. But on that particular shot, because it was so close, I should have went down there and made a proper wind adjustment. I think with a marlin ball, my chances of getting on and getting my eagle are much, much better on the other side. Much, much better. Oh my gosh, where am I at? I'm going to give myself a great to the left and a perfect. And I hit a great to the right. I was trying to hedge my bets there. If you aim right at the flagpole and you adjust the wind on that type of shot from that distance and you hit it perfect, it goes in the cup. But if you hit it great to the left or the right, it won't. So sometimes you can hedge your bet by getting right on the edge so that a perfect will drop in the cup on, like in that case, on the right-hand side of the flag. It won't hit the flagpole. But a perfect will go on the right-hand side of the flagpole. But a great to the left will go on the other side of the flagpole in the same spot. And a great to the right will miss on the outside. So I'm giving myself 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And unfortunately, I hit on the one side that I didn't have covered. That's how it goes. Get in the hole. Isn't it perfect? Give themselves a look. That was a nice shot. Well played. Nice shot. Very nice. I always root for my opponents. I mean, I'm in tournaments, I definitely root for my opponents. I want my opponents to do good because if by some chance something bad does happen, they can dig me out of it. And vice versa. I want my opponents to root for me because if I can dig them out of something bad happens. It always cracks me up when somebody ends up in the rough and then they start emoji spamming you. It's like, dude, your only savior right now is me. But then I like it even more when you're in with one of those people and they do make a mistake and they recognize that, hey, you're in the perfect spot, and they encourage you like, hey, get in the hole. And they're like, cheering you on. Like, come on, dude, you can do this. You got that shot in your bag. I go first. Okay, I know I did a wind adjustment on this last time. I wasn't paying attention, so I don't know where I was at in relation to the cup. I think I rolled past it. I do a 30% wind adjustment. So that'd be 2.1. That'd be 7, 8, 9, 3. There's 5. I'm going to try the 30, see how that works. There's 5. There's 6, 7, 8, 9. And a titch. I go right to the edge of that sand. I don't want to get over that sand. I don't like getting over sand if I can help it. Because when you get over the sand will almost. The sand will if I would have went over, if I would have made the last little teeny bit of adjustment and went over the sand, that would have been really close to the hole in one. But when you go over sand and you get your ball guide over sand and you're making adjustments, sometimes the wind effect is not like, and if you played this game for a long time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You've made an adjustment and you were over sand. And you're like, I know I made the right adjustment. And then I ended up in the sand. Like, what is the deal? Because when you're in the sand, the wind plays different, especially headwind. Anytime you got to bounce over sand, especially when you're bouncing over sand between hops. Like if your first bounce is on the other side of the sand, it's not a big deal. But if your first bounce is on this side of the sand and then you fly over the sand and your second bounce is over the sand, it's different when you hit over sand. Good game. Good game. All right, that was Gokasho Bay, hole 3, par 3. Let's see if they'll replay us. I don't have any slots open. No dice. All right, that was how to get your pin chest. I think I won 7 of 8 there. Maybe. At least 6. All right. That was today's pin chest at T5. Thanks for watching.